What is up, guys? Man, we are seeing a lot of riders bowing out with illness. I think I know what's going on here. Speaking of hot and nasty, man, that Canadian race in Gopher Dunes, dear Lord, those poor guys. I'm just glad nobody died of heat exhaustion. That was one of the hardest races I've ever seen. And in the 450 class, the title fight is heating up. Phil Nicoletti has the red plate. If you haven't tried Nano-Xtreme and you got some aches and pains, you are missing out. I'm telling you, this is the best pain solution that I've ever used, and I'm just thankful it exists. Head over to Nano-Xtreme, use code Cooksey, and get your Nano-Xtreme shipped free. And all you riders who are struggling in the heat, I'm telling you, click the link below or the QR code and talk to Coach Rob. He's the only guy in this industry that I know that truly understands the physiology of the human body, and he will keep you as strong and safe as you can be. And my buddy AJ Wrights Crypto is giving away a Tesla. He's partnered with VeChain. They're also giving away a ton of merchandise, $1,500 in free crypto. And I heard some people complaining, I don't want a Tesla. You know what? AJ stepped up. He goes, you know what? If you don't want a Tesla, I'll tell you what, I'll give you what a Tesla costs. He's going to give you 42 grand. So don't worry. You'll either win the Tesla or $42,000, whatever works best for you. But head over, follow AJ. He's got his channel, AJ Wrights Crypto. He's helping me learn how to operate in the crypto space. And he's got tons of stuff on his site that will show you too.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So why are so many professional riders dealing with this illness? It's adrenal fatigue, and this happens because it's such a long, gnarly series. And one of the biggest things that nobody's really talking about is the unqualified trainers. One high-level trainer bragged about getting certification over a weekend. Do you want to trust your athlete with some ex-racer who only knows what they did and got their certification in a weekend? Seriously. And this segment's probably going to sound like a plug for Coach Rob. It's not. But if you take a look at Coach Rob's athletes, he's never had any of these adrenal fatigue or chronic fatigue issues with any of his athletes because he uses the science. This is a guy with a background in physiology. He understands how to keep the body strong throughout the entire season. He knows when to rest. He knows when to feed them. And you're getting these unqualified trainers out there that, they raced, so they understand a little bit, but they don't understand when it gets into that danger zone, that fatigue zone. When dudes are run down, that doesn't necessarily mean work harder. For some, yeah, it does. They're not working hard enough. But for the most part, the athletes on the highest level just need rest. This is the third year of the new SMX format where the guys run Supercross, Motocross, and then they have a 3-round playoff. And while it only added 2 races, the intensity and the change in the series, we're seeing the attrition right now. This is what's happening. The first couple of years, it was new. The guys hadn't been through a couple of years of it. Now we're starting to see the wear and tear. Chase Sexton was run down. Aaron Plessinger's run down. Any of these racers who've been running the entire series are becoming worn out. And as much as I love the SMX, and I do love that 3-round playoff, I think it's a great idea. I think it's awesome for the sport. It needs to change the format a little bit. We need to allow guys to qualify in versus Supercross or Motocross and make those equally. And you can take whichever one's better. Combining the two and forcing the guys to do both series is not reasonable. Let me just run this past you. If Kawasaki could have Jason Anderson and Chase Sexton in Supercross, and then when they go outdoors, they have Jorge Prado and Harry Koulas. That is 2 strong teams that could focus on their particular discipline. That's 2 extra rides available. And when they get to SMX, you're not going to have a bunch of dudes that are completely burned out. We're going to have this completely depleted field. You're going to have guys who can focus on one series or the other. Asking them to do 17 rounds of Supercross and then 11 rounds of outdoor nationals, 30-minute plus 2 laps, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. It's superhuman. Guys can get away with it for a season, maybe 2, but you're seeing in this 3rd season how it's wearing these dudes down. As our athletes age, they can continue to do this sport all the way up until they're nearly 40. That is competitively what we can do. But if you run them this hard into the red, we're going to have guys retiring at 26, 27, 28. They are not going to last. Just take a look at the sport and the history of the sport. Guys were done at 25, 26, 27 until they started doing supercross only contracts or get guys that just run outdoor only contracts. I really wish they could do this and not be penalized, because I do love the 3 races at the end. But you take Ken Roczen. He's probably going to be the healthiest, fittest guy coming into the SMX playoffs, but he has to start with a huge deficit. That sucks. Or not a huge deficit, but a considerable deficit in the seating. Now, if he could get his seating just off of Supercross and then compare it, almost do like whichever one's better you get to take, and they need to have equal amount of weight on Supercross and on outdoor motocross. Then we could have these guys like Eli Tomac, Ken Roczen, Jason Anderson. They could get their Supercross results and they would be seated exactly where they should be in the SMX series. And I hear the argument, no, we want to see all our stars all the time. And I get that, I absolutely do. Nobody wants to see a depleted field. But if you have guys choosing one series or the other, you're going to see this build up. And you're going to see new stars being developed because they can focus on that one discipline. And then when they get to SMX, we mix them all together. Now that will make SMX that much cooler. That'll be the only time all year that we really get to see the entire SMX field. It will add to the final 3, or you know what? If you want to do that, and if you do make it to where they're equal and the guys only have to compete in one or the other, then when you get to SMX, you know what? Make it 4 rounds. That's fine. If dudes are allowed to skip either the outdoors or the Supercross series, they're gonna be fresher, and it's gonna add, and it's gonna make that playoff that much more important. That's what I wanna see done. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna get these different superstars that we don't really know of. You're gonna see a Harry Koulas getting 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's going to build his name. It's gonna build a different character, and we're gonna have more stars because they'll be able to do this longer. We're going to have our outdoor versus our Supercross, and it'll be a true showdown, and we're going to create more rides and more stars if you allow the riders to only do one of the 2 series. Of course, you're going to have some dudes that are Ironmen and they run both. Good for them, but they only get the result of Supercross or Motocross, whichever one they did better. And if they want to race all year, good on them. That's their choice, but they shouldn't be kind of forced to do both series. And as a side note, I've been watching a lot of these races for a long time. Paddle tires have to go. This is one of the most dangerous things that has infiltrated our sport. And that's the thing with tire manufacturers, racers. They are going to use what they can go fastest with, not what's the best for everybody. I was watching the Australian series, and boy, I'll tell you what, the Australian series, I was catching up on it. You guys have some high-speed tracks. You need to slow that down. That is crazy. But they had that tragic event where we lost Joel Evans, and that probably could have been avoided without a paddle tire. The thing about the high-speed kickers that develop that become so dangerous, a guy can hit it 1 lap and it's perfect. Come around the next lap, and thanks to paddle tires digging so deep, you hit that same line that was perfect a lap ago. It's got a huge kicker, and tragedy strikes. It's just nasty. Now, if you had, even if you don't want to go with my enduro tire idea, where you limit them like they do in the enduro series in Europe, it's designed not to tear up the trails. This would be designed not to tear up the tracks. Now, tracks are going to get torn up no matter what. You're riding 4 strokes, you got 40 guys hitting it. It's going to get rough and it's going to get brutal. But these paddle tires, I mean, if you want to know how much they dig, look at the start. You only hit that start like right out of the gate, 5-6 times a day, and you have like 10-inch holes. How do you expect a track to hold together when that's the kind of dig you're getting off these bikes? It's nasty. And the guys don't want to run the paddle tires. They don't like it because of the side. Whenever they swap sideways, it's more dangerous. But the problem is, if one guy runs it, they all have to run it. Even Hunter Lawrence was talking about, hey, maybe we could get a gentleman's agreement and stop running the paddle tires. You're going to see more accidents like what happened with Jordan Smith. He got chopped before the tabletop at Redbud, swapped sideways, and just launched. He didn't launch 5 feet off the track. He was 40 feet off the track. And I want to yell at the promoters for having a can out there with ropes and stuff where somebody could really get hurt. But I mean, it wasn't even close to the track. So I don't really want to bury him for that, because I think the track setups have been somewhat safe. I haven't seen anything blatantly dangerous right next to the track. They've kind of done a good job with that, because that can was way off the track. With that said, this is a direct result of running a paddle tire that has that unpredictability when you go sideways. Once you hit like that side direction, you're just a passenger, and that's what happened to Jordan Smith when he launched 40 feet off the track. And for those of you that are defending the paddle tires, I think if you polled all the top riders and said, hey, nobody can run it, is that fine? Every single one of them would be like, yes, please stop running those things. We don't want to run it. We do it because you have to get a start. You have to be competitive, but they're dangerous. All the guys prefer a regular tire that has that side grip, where if Jordan Smith had swapped and had a regular tire on there, I'm not saying he wouldn't have went off the track, but he wouldn't have went 40 feet. He'd have been 5 feet. And it's just, it takes that little element. Those are when we see disasters. That's when we see a mechanic get landed on. That's when we see a bike go into the crowd. If they keep doing this, it's only a matter of time. So let's not wait until we have a tragic incident where somebody does this on a big jump and launches into the crowd. Let's just take care of it right now and fix the problem before we have a tragedy that's all over TMZ and all this other stuff. Can we be a little bit proactive here? And I know Dunlop probably won't be happy. Just let them know. Next year, we're doing away with paddle tires. That's it. Nobody can run the paddle tire, and I think everybody will be better off. If you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport. This is a family-owned shipping company that is just, they're good people. So if you need to ship anything and you want to deal with good people, with good customer service and good pricing, hit up pretransport.com. And if you're wearing regular gear out in the heat, I'm telling you, get yourself some Alias MX, the 25.5, the summer stuff. It's lighter, more breathable, and it will keep you cool. But you better hurry, it's gonna sell out. So head over to Alias MX and get your 25.5 gear. So I've been watching, I'm a huge fan of the Canadian Nationals, and I've been watching it all year. I missed it live, so I was kind of bummed that it took them 3 days to get it available on the Ride TV app. But besides that, wow, they really stepped up. I don't know what changed at Gopher Dunes. It didn't look like a amateur national. It didn't look like a weekend fair race. It looked like a true national. The setup was better. It just seemed to flow better. Keep it up. That's what the track should look like, and that's how a national should be run. And I really don't want to talk bad about the announcers, because Galdi's awesome. He's doing a great job. But the other guy, Liam, ooh.
I think he just misread whether Lapper was going to be there. So hopefully good. Sorry, I don't actually know how to pronounce his name. It's a French name.
Gurjon, Alex Gurjon.
So he's a woods rider.
Yes, he's a woods rider.
Well, now he's feeling out here at the beach.
I'm kind of coming around to him because he did say some funny stuff, like when he wouldn't talk about Dylan Rimple on the last lap because they didn't want to jinx him. I get it. He sounds like a really good dude, but I just don't know that announcing is his forte. I really wish they would either run Ryan Gauld as a single-man booth like they do with Paul Malin in the GPs, or get somebody else in there.
Me? Fly ball. Caught.
He's probably a really great guy. I don't know him, and I really feel bad critiquing him, but I'm sorry, announcing, that's just not your thing, man. It's just not. And I'm not saying I could do any better. It's a hard job, and it takes a very rare person to be able to get in there and call the races in a way. And no matter what you do, people are going to critique you, but I just don't think that's your calling there, Liam. Especially in Canada, where that bar has been set so high. Brian Coster and the Canadian announcers, they really leveled up, announcing in this sport and entertainment value. And man, I really miss Brian Coster. You guys just put Coster in the booth with Galdi. It will be amazing. More people will watch. You'll bring us back. So sorry, Liam, you're probably a great dude, but we need Brian Coster or somebody else in there that's just a more gifted announcer. And we had a huge shakeup in the MX1 or 450 point standings in Canada. Jess Pettis has been dominating the series. Dylan Wright's been fast. I think he won the opener with a 2-1. But other than that, it's been all Jess Pettis. He had a nasty crash in practice, got a concussion. From what I'm hearing, he might be out more than just this one round. It's a little more severe than they said on the broadcast. And that sucks. That really does suck. It's such a bummer when injuries change the series. But boy, it really did give it a shakeup. And then Dylan Wright could have gone out there and went 1-1, gained 50 points, but I guess he ran out of gas or a part broke on his bike, and he was not happy. So they had to go back to the stock tank, and he won by so far on the second moto, he was able to do a pit stop. That was pretty cool. I wouldn't mind seeing pit stops be a thing in the sport. It really did change it and left us some real excitement. When a dude's 30 seconds out, you're like, oh, what's going on? But knowing he had to make a pit stop, it really made it more exciting. I kind of liked it. And I loved that he also built up a big enough lead to high-five the crew on the last lap. That was pretty classy. Good on you, Dylan Wright. That was something we don't normally see, and yeah, that was pretty cool. A pit stop and then high-fiving your pit on the last lap. And here's something crazy. Phil Nicoletti had a rough day. I mean, he was so bad in that second moto that Galdi was asking if his shock was blown.
You tell me, look at the rear shock right now. It's something there. It's very kicky, very poppy right now as Ward gets by as well. So Phil Nicoletti having some serious issues with himself or the bike at the moment. He's gone from first to fifth in a matter of a lap and a half.
But it was that track. That Gopher Dunes track is one of the gnarliest, nastiest, most brutal tracks that you'll have in the world. All that said, Phil Nicoletti, coming out of retirement, jumping on a Kawasaki, is leading the points. He's got the red plate. Are you kidding me? Now, I don't expect him to hold on to this. I fully think Dylan Wright's going to win this championship. But if Honda can't figure out whatever's breaking on his bike consistently, shoot, Phil Nicoletti might end up your outdoor champion in Canada. Who'd have thought that after all the retirement parties last year that Phil might end up being your Canadian champ this year? And congratulations to Tanner Ward getting his first ever win on that nasty, gnarly track. He earned it. He went out there, won the first moto, and held on for second in the second moto. I guess that's his home track. But man, those guys emptied the tanks. Seeing Galdi trying to get post-race interviews with these dudes that are like darn near collapsing, they left it all on the track. And I just want to say congratulations, Tanner Ward. You earned that with a 2-1 finish. And then his buddy in the 250 class, 17-year, I think he said he's 17, Dylan Rimple. He might be older than that, but he got his first overall win in the 250 class. Things were just up in the air. In that first moto in the 250 class, Ryder McNabb and Preston Kilroy, they went out there and just emptied the tank and had nothing left in that second moto. There's a lot of strategy involved at Gopher Dunes. You cannot go sprint. You sprint, you will ruin it. And once you're tired in that deep, gnarly, rough sand, it's a bad day after that. But that racing in Gopher Dunes was fun. I'm telling you, if you want to watch it, head over to Ride TV, get the app, try and watch it live because it takes a little while to upload afterward. But I'm really enjoying following the Canadian series. And it was clarified to me how the payment structure works. It's kind of weird. It's hard to jump in the series as a privateer and make any money because they're paying to the teams and they're paying through segments. But I'll give them credit. They're trying really hard, and there's not a lot of revenue in that Canadian series. They don't have the fans that the American series does. They're not getting the buys on their Ride TV app. It's not like they're hoarding the money. Jetworks is doing a real good job giving back what they can. I don't like this idea. I appreciate them trying it with the segments and paying to the teams. I would like to see them go back to a traditional structure where you just pay the riders throughout the field, round by round. But I'll give them credit for trying something different. Good on you guys. And I was going to cover the Big Hill Jam today, but I got stuck watching Matt Burkeen's page. If you haven't checked out Matt Burkeen's page, he covered the entire Big Hill Jam. Some of the coolest, craziest footage you'll ever see. I'm going to break that down tomorrow. I got permission for him to use a little bit of the footage, but I prefer you head over there and watch it on his channel and give him the views. But the Big Hill Jam was crazy again. The Hill brothers they're out of their minds. Thank you, members. I appreciate everything. You're all entered to win some Nano Xtreme in July, and then everybody's entered to win the new Powersports XQi3 motorcycle that we're giving away in December. And I have been testing this thing against the Sur-Ron, and it is considerably faster and it handles much better. It has a true linkage, whereas the Sur-Ron just has a shock that goes right to the swing arm, kind of like the old KTMs. The XQi3 has a linkage and it's faster and it has a little turbo and it costs less. So if you want a Sur-Ron performance or better than a Sur-Ron performance for less cost, check out New Powersports. Thanks guys, here's your member of the day.
Let's start this off by saying, we got them. The illegal sale of American motorcycle racing. I present a case that reveals how the American Motorcyclist Association's 2008 sale of its racing properties constituted an illegal transfer of public trust into private hands. My name's B Mazy, and I'm here to stir shit up. So I made a song for you guys. You know, it's crazy that the riders still gotta pay to race, even though these guys are just filling their pockets because they're money-hungry, greedy, stupid mother, ex-circus owners, but still got the same mindset for the Supercross. Screw Feld, screw the AMA, and screw Rob Dingman. I'm reading your obituary. It says you died in 2008. guess selling souls is a business. Cause you gave it all away. But your cause of death was suspicious. Lord knows your soul was lost. I am just a witness, cause I know who killed Motocross. Cause I know who killed Motocross. This is the arraignment for NASCAR failed entertainment. I am just a witness, but I gotta make a statement. I speak for the people, cause we can't remain complacent. The illegals hell American motorcycle racing. The devil is a wingman, his name is Rob Dingman. He wanna kill the future of the moto kids in dreamland. How selfish do you gotta be? Treat us like cheap property. Package us up and sell the whole sport to a monopoly. This is very legal, they don't care about the people. It's like NASCAR and Jordan, man, this practice is deceitful. Private entities manipulating what we love. The DMG extorting the AMA, a bunch of thugs. This happened to Planet Fitness, the dark side of business. Rest in peace to motocross, cause I will never forget it. And I will never forget it. Right on. I'm reading your obituary. It says you died in 2008. I guess selling souls is a business. Cause you gave it all away. But your cause of death was suspicious. Lord knows your soul was lost. I am just a witness, cause I know who killed